Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. Over 25 lakh people recovered from COVID-19 in the country, which is 3.5 times the number of active cases. More than 3 crore 85 lakh 70,000 tests done so far. Second phase clinical trials of Oxford COVID-19 vaccine begin in Chennai and Pune. In Punjab, 22 MLAs, including cabinet ministers, tested positive for COVID-19 ahead of the one-day assembly session. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs the GST Council meeting to discuss compensation for loss of revenue to the states. And Central team is conducting field assessment of the damage caused by floods in Assam. The recovery rate of patients from COVID-19 in the country has reached 76.24% today. The total number of patients recovered has almost reached 3.5 times the number of active cases. The country also registered more than 100% increase in the recoveries in the last 1 month. With sustained preemptive and timely interventions, India achieved another milestone of over 25 lakh recoveries. Over 56,000 patients have successfully recovered from COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, Haryana and Gujarat have recorded recovery rates higher than 80%. The Health Ministry has informed that out of the total active corona cases in the country, only 0.29% are on ventilator and 2% of the total patients are in the ICU. The case fatality rate also continues to show steady decline and now stands at 1.83%. The Health Ministry said that over 75,000 new cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative figure to 33,10,235. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 7,25,991. In a single day, 1,023 deaths have also been reported, taking the toll to 60,472. India is continuously stepping up its COVID testing capacity. In the last 24 hours, nearly 9,25,000 samples were tested, taking the cumulative testing numbers till date to over 3 crore 85 lakh 76,000. The positivity rate continues to record decline despite increased testing and stands at a weekly average of around 8% of the total samples tested. Tests done per million of the population in the country has also scaled new peak of being over 27,000. The Union Health Ministry informed that the remarkable feat has been achieved by rigorously following the test, track and treat strategy. The week-wise average daily tests conducted in the country has also witnessed a sharp increase from around 2.3 lakh in the first week of July to over 8 lakh in the current week. Government said that the strong determinant of this milestone has been sustained expansion of testing labs across the country. From merely one lab in January this year, the country today has 1,550 labs. Out of this, 993 are government labs, while the remaining 557 are private.
Second phase clinical trials of Oxford COVID-19 vaccine has begun in Chennai and Pune. In Chennai, 2 prominent medical institutions are starting the second and third phase field trials of the Oxford vaccine candidate Covishield. In another development, the Tamil Nadu government has exempted college students having arrears except in last semester from writing the examinations in view of COVID-19. Previously, the exemption was made for the regular students. A report.
Chennai is one of the 17 locations in India to conduct a field trial of the promising vaccine candidate Covishield, developed jointly by the Oxford University and the AstraZeneca. The Government Rajiv Gandhi General Hospital and the Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research are the 2 institutions in the city that run the trial. The State Director of Public Health, Dr. T.S. Selva Vinayagam, who coordinates the study in Chennai, told AAR News Healthy volunteers above the age of 18 are being involved in its multicentric clinical trial.
So we'll be starting the phase 2 and phase 3 together. We will be following the volunteers up to 180 days. This is to assess the safety, immunogenicity and reactogenicity. We'll be doing that.
The T cells in the white blood corpuscles against the viral pathogen are said to be observed in 14 days after administering the vaccine, and the antibodies in about 28 days. Their effectiveness to eliminate the virus and several other factors will be exhaustively tested during the trial. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Meanwhile, the total number of COVID-19 infections in the state is nearing the 4 lakh mark. 5,958 people tested positive yesterday, taking the total to over 3,97,000. However, the active caseload in the state is about 52,000. In Maharashtra, the second phase clinical trial of the Oxford COVID-19 vaccine being manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, SII, began at a medical college and hospital in Pune yesterday. According to the hospital officials, 2 male volunteers were administered the vaccine at Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College and Hospital Post. Details from our correspondent.
The doctors at Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College and Hospital administered the first shot of the Covishield vaccine to a 32-year-old man after his reports of COVID-19 and antibodies tests came out negative. Another 48-year-old male volunteer was also given the vaccine. According to details by the medical director of Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College Hospital and Research Center, Dr. Sanjay Lalwani, the COVID-19 and antibodies tests were conducted on 5 volunteers. Of them, the reports of 3 volunteers' antibodies test came out positive, so they became ineligible for today's trial. The doctor informed that in all, 25 candidates will be given the vaccine in next 7 days. Meanwhile, the Sangli district administration has initiated stringent action on the private hospitals which are asking to deposit advanced amount before admitting COVID positive patients. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Meanwhile, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has said that Chase the Virus strategy will be executed across the state to break the chain of coronavirus. He inaugurated a 816-bed jumbo COVID facility in Pimpri of Pune district yesterday.
In Punjab, 22 MLAs, including Cabinet Ministers Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa, Shyam Sundar Arora and Gurpreet Singh Kangar, have been tested positive for COVID-19 ahead of the one-day monsoon session of the Assembly. While 3 cabinet ministers had tested positive earlier, the remaining MLAs tested positive this week. Some of them had undertaken the test yesterday and today, as it is mandatory to have a COVID negative report before attending the session scheduled for tomorrow. Punjab Vidhan Sabha officials have said that 3 Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, 6 from the Akali Dal and 13 Congress MLAs have tested positive. The MLAs who have been tested positive for COVID-19 were present in the legislative party meetings of both Aam Aadmi Party and the Shiromani Akali Dal held on Tuesday in Chandigarh. They have to quarantine themselves for 5 days as per protocol of the Health Department. As a result, only 2 MLAs from AAP who could not attend the meeting yesterday will be allowed to attend the session tomorrow, while none from the Akali Dal can attend the session. The session has been called as it is a constitutional requirement to call a session within 6 months of the previous session. Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment Krishan Pal Gurjar has tested positive for coronavirus. In a tweet, Mr. Gurjar said he has tested positive for coronavirus infection. The minister advised those who came in his contact in the last few days to get tested and take required precautions.
Arunachal Pradesh recorded its highest single-day spike of 143 COVID-19 cases yesterday, taking the state's tally to 3,555. Meanwhile, 55 COVID-19 patients were discharged following recovery from the virus. With this, the active cases in the state stands at 987. 2,563 patients were discharged and 5 have died. In Mizoram, 7 more coronavirus cases have been detected and 9 patients were discharged after recovery in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID-19 cases has reached 974 in the state. According to the official statement, so far 473 patients have been discharged after recovery, while 501 patients are presently undergoing treatment.
In Telangana, surge in the number of COVID-19 cases been recorded continues with 2,795 new cases recorded on a single day yesterday. With this, the number of total COVID-19 cases reported so far in the state increased to 1,14,483. During the same period, 872 patients have recovered and discharged from various hospitals in the state. With this, the recovery rate in the state stood at 75.2%, and a total 86,095 people recovered so far. Meanwhile, 8 more people died yesterday, taking the total COVID-19 toll to 788. The ICMR National Institute of Nutrition, along with the state government, has taken up the second round of Sero survey in 3 districts of the state. 1,200 people will be tested randomly to study the community transmission of the coronavirus. The National Testing Agency NTA has said that all steps and precautions will be taken while conducting NEET and JEE 2020 exams in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. The joint entrance examination JEE mains and the NEET undergraduate examinations for admissions to technical and medical courses are scheduled to be held next month. Talking to media, NTA Director General Dr. Vinit Joshi said safety of all the students and staff is paramount to them. He assured that the government guidelines on social distancing have been followed.
कोविड-19 का पेंडेमिक है अभी, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोगों ने सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग की जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की गाइडलाइंस हैं उसका पूरा ध्यान में रखते हुए एक तो हमने नंबर ऑफ सेंटर्स को बढ़ाया है, नंबर ऑफ सेंटर मतलब नंबर ऑफ रूम्स को बढ़ाया है। हमने इस बात का भी पूरा ध्यान रखा हुआ है कि जो बच्चे परीक्षा केंद्र पे एकत्र होते हैं परीक्षा शुरू होने के पहले या परीक्षा खत्म होने के बाद, उसको भी प्रॉपरली कंट्रोल किया जाए। इसके अलावा नंबर ऑफ इन्विजिलेटर्स की संख्या को भी दुगना कर दिया गया है, क्योंकि एक तरफ हम सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का ध्यान रख रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ से हम लोग यह भी ध्यान रख रहे हैं कि इस परीक्षा की जो एक प्रामाणिकता है, इसकी जो सीक्रेसी है, इसकी जो सेफ्टी है, वो पूरी बनी रहे।
Dr. Vinit Joshi said the number of rooms have been increased so that no more than 12 candidates sit in the same room. Meanwhile, the NTA has released the admit cards for National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test Undergraduate NEET UG 2020 examination. In the first 3 hours, over 4 lakh candidates downloaded the admit cards. In the first 5 hours, 6.84 lakh candidates have downloaded the admit cards. Nearly 8,50,000 candidates have registered for JEE mains this year. Over 15 lakh candidates have registered for NEET undergraduate, which is slated to be held on the 13th of September.
The West Bengal government has partially lifted restrictions on flights coming in from 6 cities as part of unlock process. Our Kolkata correspondent gives more details.
In a decision taken by West Bengal government, flights coming in from 6 cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Chennai and Ahmedabad can come thrice a week starting from 1st September 2020. However, flight operations will remain suspended on lockdown days, that is 7th, 11th and 12th September 2020. This is Dr. Priyanka reporting for All India Radio News, Kolkata.
In our series, Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, member health in Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Paul urged everyone to follow social distancing in order to break the chain of transmission.
अपने बुजुर्गों को ख्याल रखना, अलग रखना, दूरी बनानी, लेकिन सोशली उनको, इमोशनली उनको दूर नहीं करना और इसी तरह से जो दूरी बनानी है अपने कोवर्कर के साथ में, जहां हम जा रहे हैं, जहां हम खड़े हो रहे हैं, लाइन में खड़े हो रहे हैं, शॉप पे हैं, वर्क प्लेस पे है, बहुत जरूरी है। और साथ साथ मैं ये भी याद दिलाऊंगा कि हमें बार बार अपने हाथ भी धोने हैं या हैंड को सैनिटाइज करना है।
Dr. Sanjay Pandey of Govind Vallabh Pant Hospital, Delhi, spoke about the use of masks, saying it is important to wear them while stepping out of home.
There is no treatment right now for coronavirus. It's very important to maintain the social distancing and the isolation. There are different guidelines and the WHO says that person should be wearing mask. There is no doubt about that.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. M.K. Sen, senior physician at Safdarjung Hospital, will participate in the discussion. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to Dr. Sen on toll-free telephone number 1800115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on a Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can listen to it on a mobile app News on AIR.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Over 25 lakh people recovered from COVID-19 in the country, which is 3.5 times the number of active cases. More than 3,85,70,000 tests done so far. Second phase clinical trials of Oxford COVID-19 vaccine begin in Chennai and Pune. In Punjab, 22 MLAs, including cabinet ministers, tested positive for COVID-19 ahead of the one-day assembly session. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs the GST Council meeting to discuss compensation for loss of revenue to the states. And Central Team is conducting field assessment of the damage caused by floods in Assam. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The GST Council meeting is underway with the agenda of compensation for loss of revenue arising from the implementation of GST. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is chairing the 41st GST Council meeting through video conferencing. Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur and Finance Ministers of States and Union Territories and senior officers from Union Government and States are present. Under GST law, states were guaranteed to be compensated bi-monthly for any loss of revenue in the first 5 years of the GST implementation from 1st of July 2017. In Assam, the Central Team has begun their field visit to assess the flood damage. The team will continue the assessment till tomorrow. CEO of the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, M.S. Manivannan, told AIR that the 6-member team has been divided into 3 groups. Mr. Manivannan said that the groups will visit at least 7 flood-hit districts. He said that the team held a review meeting with senior Assam government officials at Guwahati last evening.
The team is visiting in 3 different locations, 3 different parts of the state today. They are in the field now. And one team is visiting Golpara, Barpeta and Bongaigaon districts. And one team is going to Majuli, Lakhimpur. And another team is visiting Nagaon and Golaghat, Kaziranga areas. And they'll be visiting the devastated flood damage areas and they'll be talking to the people. They'll see the damages caused due to flood. And they'll have discussions with the district administration over there. And they'll make their own assessment. They'll submit a report. And after that, we will submit a final memorandum to Government of India. We hope the Government of India may send another team or they may take a decision for the course of action.
Additional Chief Secretary Jishnu Barua made a presentation on flood damages for the Central Team. 3 waves of flood affected lakhs of people in Assam this year.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has praised the contribution of more than 1 lakh NCC cadets who supported the frontline corona warriors by executing various tasks in the fight against the pandemic. Mr. Singh said this while launching the Directorate General National Cadet Corps DG NCC mobile training app in New Delhi today. The app will assist in conducting countrywide online training of NCC cadets. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Singh said NCC imparts values of unity, discipline and service to the nation. He said several NCC cadets rose to become great personalities such as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Marshal of the Indian Air Force Arjun Singh, sportsperson Anjali Bhagwat, former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and former Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar. In view of the restrictions imposed by COVID-19, training of NCC cadets has been affected adversely and it is mostly contact-based training. Defence Ministry said since schools and colleges are not likely to open in near future, a need was felt that training to NCC cadets should be imparted utilizing the digital medium. The DG NCC mobile training app aims at providing NCC cadets entire training material on one platform. The app will certainly be a positive step towards automation of NCC training in line with Digital India vision of Prime Minister. In Mizoram, polling for village councils and urban local body councils elections began this morning at 7 o'clock amid strict maintenance of social distancing. Election officials said that polling is going on in a very calm and disciplined atmosphere. Our correspondent reports that in polling centres, senior citizens are found in the queues in the first leg of morning to cast their votes. Election officials said that voters have been asked to appear as per the given time for different age groups of voters for casting votes. State Election Commission has postponed polling in 24 local councils to contain the spread of COVID-19.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for the nurturing of the entrepreneurial talent among the youth of the nation to make India Atmanirbhar in the times to come. Mr. Naidu said this while addressing a webinar on Acharya Vinoba Bhave's contribution to the dissemination of Gandhiji's philosophy for social uplift and Bhudan movement. Mr. Naidu said that we must tap into the entrepreneurial talent and technological skill of every citizen of the nation and harness the local resources to attain self-reliance and to serve the humanity at large.
What we are trying to now build is Swakshat Bharat, Swabhiman Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat that Vinoba and Gandhiji has thought of. The concept of equitable opportunities for the growth to all irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region. Essentially values individuals as individuals rather than as members of some social or economic group. Welfare of each and every citizen.
Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has called upon the writers and authors to come forward to play an active role to help the society facing the challenge of coronavirus pandemic. Inaugurating World Urdu webinar titled Responsibilities of Urdu Writers in the Age of Electronic and Social Media through video conference, Dr. Pokhriyal underlined the need for utilization of social media and electronic media by the Urdu writers, especially during the current situation.
मैं इस महत्वपूर्ण तात्कालिक और जो चुनौती भरे समय में जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया और सोशल मीडिया इसकी जो ताकत उभर करके सामने आई है, इस ताकत का इस्तेमाल कैसे मेरे उर्दू लेखक कर सकते हैं वर्तमान परिस्थितियों में, मेरे उर्दू कलमकारों की क्या महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका हो सकती है, निश्चित आप इन 2 दिन के ऐतिहासिक सम्मेलन में उन तमाम विधाओं पर, विचारों पर, समस्याओं पर, वो जो बुनियादी बातें हैं, जो जज्बा को पैदा करते हैं, उस पर पारस्परिक आप विचार विमर्श करेंगे और ऐसे लेखों को सामने लाएंगे जिससे जो सामने चुनौतियां हैं उसका हम मुकाबला कर सकें.
In Jammu and Kashmir, District Development Commissioner of Samba, Mr. Rohit Khajuria, yesterday chaired a meeting of district officers to review progress of Aadhaar seeding of bank accounts of beneficiaries of various welfare schemes. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that the meeting discussed in detail about the Aadhaar seeding of beneficiaries covered under schemes like National Social Assistance Programme, NSAP, Marriage Assistance Scheme, NFSA, MG Nurega and other related schemes. The DDC directed the concerned agency to put in place requisite machinery and manpower to achieve 100% Aadhaar seeding within stipulated time. He also directed to provide fast-track facility to trace and enroll left-out eligible families. He directed officers to work in close coordination with bank representatives and strive for achieving 100% target. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Mahila Shiksha Kendra MSK, Rajouri organized an awareness program on women-centric schemes under Beti Bachao Beti Padhao BBBP campaign in Panchayat Thandi Kasi of district. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that Women Welfare Officer Dr. Anu Mirza and district coordinators Nazma Sheikh and Sanjana Thakur made the participants aware about the women-centric schemes including BBBP, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, Janani Suraksha Yojana, Ujjwala Yojana, One Stop Center, Women's Safety Laws, Women and Child Helpline Number, Women Welfare Schemes, PC and PNDT Act and various scholarships. Besides the declining child sex ratio, its consequences and the ways to eradicate the menace of female feticides were also discussed.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that fake news is more dangerous than paid news. Speaking at a virtual event organized by industry body IAMAI, Internet and Mobile Association of India, Mr. Javadekar said fake news has a very potent power of disturbing the peace. He said the manipulation of public opinion over social media platforms has emerged as a critical threat to public life.
Fake news has caused divisive social media campaigns, fanned separatist movements, intensified political conflicts, and the fake news campaigns across the world is lack of targeted legislation, lack of media literacy and awareness, and wider penetration of mobile and internet services, low cost of benefit ratio, low risk detection, anonymity and plausible deniability.
The minister said government has taken an initiative to curb fake news by setting up a fact-check team which checks and verifies information being floated in digital medium.
We are definitely taking note of the fake news, and therefore we started one attempt in 2019 October, and that is PIB Fact Check Unit. We have now established our fact check units in all the states, and every day every unit at least busts 2 or 3 fake news, and we stamp it as fake news, and that has gained a credibility in the eyes of people also.
In a series on Atmanirbhar Bharat, today we bring you a special story on mobile apps designed and developed by Indian developers and companies without any foreign assistance. The Government of India in association with Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology had invited nominations for the development of mobile apps from Indian developers. Mobile applications that won the Atmanirbhar Bharat App Challenge can now be downloaded from the app stores. My IT Return, one of the winner apps in the challenge, helps users in quick and easy calculation of the income tax liabilities and also allows them to check the status of income tax refunds. The app also keeps individual tax filers updated with the income tax return details and supports many Indian languages including Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Punjabi and Bengali.
As Kerala's biggest cultural festival Onam is around the corner, the state government has issued detailed guidelines for the celebrations of Onam during the COVID pandemic period. Here is a report.
As per the guidelines issued, shops and all business firms will be allowed to function from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. in the state. This is applicable only to non-containment zones till September 2nd. Public Onam celebrations and crowding in the name of Onam Sadhya will be prohibited. People have been advised to avoid non-essential travel. Cashless transaction, online purchase and home delivery should be encouraged. Public markets, malls, hypermarkets can function with a limit on the entry of people, maintaining strict social distancing and other COVID protocols. Keralites across the globe is celebrating its biggest festival Onam, in which the most auspicious day, Thiruvonam, will fall on August 31st. Meanwhile, Kerala continues to report surge in COVID cases as 2,476 new cases were confirmed last day. The total number of active COVID cases in the state reaches 22,344. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
The national capital is likely to experience another spell of moderate to heavy rain from today. India Meteorological Department IMD said that intense monsoon showers are expected in many parts of northwest India, including Delhi, in the next 24 to 48 hours. Some parts of the city and adjoining areas have already started experiencing light, intermittent rain since yesterday. IMD said that the monsoon trough is shifting northwards and will stay very close to Delhi NCR region for the next 2 days.
Now let us take a look at the weather for today. The national capital Delhi is having generally cloudy sky with light showers. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and maximum temperature is expected to be 35 degrees. Mumbai is having generally cloudy sky with forecast of moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius and the maximum is likely to be 32 degrees. Chennai has generally cloudy sky with light rain and drizzle. The temperature hovers between 25 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata has generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be 32 degrees. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. The city is having generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. In Srinagar, minimum temperature was around 17 degrees, while the maximum could be 23 degrees. The city has generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Ladakh is experiencing generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain and thunderstorm or dust storm, while the minimum temperature is 14, the maximum is likely to be 27. In Gilgit, minimum temperature was 18 and maximum is expected to be around 29 degrees Celsius. The forecast says witness cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Muzaffarabad, there is generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 19 and the maximum is likely to be 29 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Over 25 lakh people recovered from COVID-19 in the country, which is 3.5 times the number of active cases. More than 3,85,70,000 tests done so far. Second phase clinical trials of Oxford COVID-19 vaccine begin in Chennai and Pune. In Punjab, 22 MLAs, including cabinet ministers, tested positive for COVID-19 ahead of the one-day assembly session. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs the GST Council meeting to discuss compensation for loss of revenue to the states. And Central Team is conducting field assessment of the damage caused by floods in Assam. And with that we end the Midday News.